Hi, I'm Mary Lowman of the Christian Working Woman, and it's time for another coaching moment to help you thrive in your career and in your life. I want to give you some thoughts on this whole idea of work-life balance. It's a topic that's kicked around and discussed unendingly, and yet no one seems to find the ideal way to achieve this so-called work-life balance. And I think that's because it's pretty much a myth. I believe, particularly for Christ followers, it's the wrong way to approach this dilemma. One thing I noticed early on in my career with IBM was that many people stayed late as though they had these impossible workloads that could not be accomplished in the established 8-hour day. But what I finally concluded was staying late became a badge of honor that you could talk about the next day. I didn't get home until 7 o'clock last night or something like that. You know, for many, it just seemed to be their claim to be very important and doing lots more than others. What most people were doing was squeezing 8 hours into 10. So if your work requires you to do much more than can be done in your daily allotted time, and you truly are working hard all day long, then it's time to have a talk with your management and explain that you need their direction on how to limit your workload so that you can leave reasonably close to stopping time. But first, analyze how you spend your time and ask yourself how you could work more efficiently, which should mean faster. You may have some bad habits that are causing these unacceptable workloads. I'll just mention a few. Procrastination, putting off the things you don't like to do, a lot of starting and stopping because you either interrupt yourself or you allow others to interrupt you unnecessarily. Trying to do everything to perfection is another reason, and reluctance to ask others for help. And then don't think of finding a balance between work and life. Instead of thinking of work as part of your life, and you just need to figure out how you establish flexibility between what's required of you on your job and what your responsibilities are for your family and your own self and other important endeavors. And it will be different for each of us. Remember, work was and still is God's idea. He didn't intend for you to think of work as a punishment, something you have to do but didn't have to do. It should be an integral part of your life, offering you the opportunity not only to make needed money, but even more importantly, to be a light in what is often a dark world, full of others who need Jesus. You do need to establish some boundaries, not rigid ones, but livable ones. And that, no doubt, is more difficult if you work from home. You do need a work environment that is conducive to your work, not full of distractions. Ecclesiastes 9:10 tells us that whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. And Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Approaching your work each day with that attitude takes some of the dread out of work and replaces it with a good attitude, and that truly makes a world of difference. The last advice I would give you is to be present where you are. When you're at work, give it as much undivided attention as possible. Leave your other concerns and responsibilities for later if and when you can. And then when you're not at work, when you're home with your family or your friends or in a Bible study or whatever, be totally present there. Remember, God has not called you to be a superwoman, but you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. All things, that is, in His will for you to do. All things that bring glory to Jesus. Seeing our work as something we do for the Lord and depending on Him each day to get us through, well, it just gives you a great advantage over those not yet in the family of God. So rejoice, you are blessed. And here's a final thought for you. If you're feeling stuck in your career, or maybe you struggle to set and keep boundaries, or perhaps you have big goals but you're not sure how to reach them, working with a coach could help. At the Christian Working Woman, we have a team of qualified coaches who would love to help you move from where you are to where you want to be. So visit christianworkingwoman.org to learn more and connect with a coach today.